Yes, everybody, what's going on? My name is Stephen Howson, and
It's Joe.
It's Joe Smith is joining us, and this is a brand new show which we're doing.
We're going to be doing a new show
every week, apart from the weeks we don't do it. Mm-hmm. So this is your new home of sport, essentially. It's like Sky Sports, but nowhere near as big or as good or as many people watching it. So if you're into that sort of stuff, you, my friend, are in the right place. This is the Fixture List. We're going to start talking about... Let's be honest, it's going to be heavily football.
Yeah.
Heavily football.
Right, what you know?
Heavily, like an elephant on a trampoline, right? So it's going to be heavily football, but it also basically just gives us an excuse to go a little bit left and look at the UFC maybe, and a little bit right, and look at a bit of rugby, and maybe a little bit, what's another direction? Up, and look at... NFL.
Oh, it's exciting.
And in a nutshell, it's an excuse for me and Joe to just go and check out loads of different sports. So that's why we are doing the Fixture List. But thank you guys for joining us. Right, Joe.
Yeah.
Yesterday, there was all of these summits. Right, stick with us because this initially sounds like it's going to get boring, but I'm just storytelling and I'm framing up the reason why me and Joe have just done this pointless exercise that we've just done.
Yeah.
So, there was a summit yesterday and they were talking about the North.
Yeah.
And they was talking about the North in the economic terms. Stay with us. Right, and they was talking
politics,
it was a little bit of politics, and there was like all sorts of stuff going on, and this, that, and the other. And they basically said something which caught my eye, and it said, if the North, and it's the proper North as well, because it's from like Chester and Sheffield up.
Right.
It's not even like a bit of the Midlands. This is North with an F, North.
Yeah.
Right. And they said, if the North was its own country, it'd have a bigger economy. Stay with us. Than Northern Ireland, Scotland, and Wales combined.
Put together.
And it would also be the 8th biggest economy in the EU. Now, I know what you're all thinking, and why do I care about the things that you're talking about here, Steve? Well, I'll tell you why you should care about the things that we're talking about right here. And the reason you should care about the things we're talking about is because I found this as an excuse to do a North England team. So what would a North England... The Democratic Republic of the North of England...
Well...
is what I'm going to call it.
So what are the rules, Steve?
So here's what's going to happen. Joe's going to pick a team.
Yep.
And his is going to be the dirty South.
I'm representing the South for these purposes, because you're born slightly more north than me.
Yeah, I mean, when you put it on the map, it ain't that much more.
No, it's very similar. Yeah. But I'll take that. I'll take it.
So Joe's going to represent the dirty South, and I'm going to represent the
triumphant, glorious North.
Yeah, the glorious, hard-working, industrious, Democratic Republic of the People of the North, FC. So... the rules,
right,
Joseph. The rules, and I'll let you go first.
I love rules.
The rules are they've just got to be born in either the North or the South.
Right, born. It's place of birth, not what country they represent, none of that. That's annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, because I'm thinking of squeezing Scott McTominay in there, maybe.
Yeah, and
even though he represents Scotland,
he's
born in Lancaster. No, and Raheem Sterling was born in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So we are more stringent in the Democratic Republic of the Angelical people and industrial people of the North than England are.
Yeah.
And I also want to know who you'd have as your manager as well. So let's split the country. It's not even in half, really, because like the Midlands would be an interesting little...
It's its own kind of category.
And what if you threw it in?
It'd be the worst one, let's face it.
I don't know if it would.
Who have you got?
I don't know.
Dean Henderson.
No, he's in the North.
Isn't it? Wasn't Harry Maguire?
Sheffield, North.
Jack Grealish? Midlands?
Yes.
Aston Villa?
Yeah.
He'd be playing for them. He'd be in the Midlands team.
Yeah. I think you got him in Delft, maybe.
Yeah. What a team that is.
Yeah.
Already two.
Anyway,
two
right. Do you want to give us your team then, Joe?
Let's have a look at my team, and this is I'm gonna be honest, pulverise your team, Steve.
Do you really think?
Yeah. Show me the team. Look at that, then. Right. Starting out, formation 4-3-3. Do you want me to go with the manager first?
Yeah, I'd like to know who your manager
is. I'm going big Gary Southgate.
Fraud.
Because he has already managed 3/4 of these players at international level.
Okay,
he's got to a semi-final of a World Cup for the first time in nearly 30 years.
Okay.
He knows it. He knows it back to front. And waistcoat and that.
Won nothing then. Yeah.
Waistcoat. Okay. Yeah, he's won nothing. But to be honest, not many of the English managers have won much.
That's a very good point.
Unfortunately. Right, so in net, got to be Popey on it. We saw him yesterday for Burnley against United. Excellent goalkeeper. For me, probably England's number one at the moment.
Lies, but okay.
Okay. I don't think Pickford's been that great. I think maybe Dean Henderson's up there as well, but I think Pope's been consistent.
It's not a terrible defence, I'll give you that.
It's a great defence. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, the best tackler in England by an absolute mile. We've got Tyrone Mings as well, who's been excellent for Villa. did well in them getting promoted, been good again this season. Doesn't mind standing on someone's face every once in a while either, if that's what you want in a centre-back. And then Joe Gomez, obviously, the picture there where he's won the World Club Championship. So he's the world champion, Joe Gomez, should I say.
Okay.
In case you didn't know, Steve. And I've got lovely Ben Chilwell as well. Nice bicep
Lovely
there.
Ben Chilwell.
That's what they call him, isn't it?
Who is Nan?
Yeah, lovely Ben Chilwell. Cup of tea, 2 sugars, and 4 or 5 rich teas. That's Ben Chilwell. Then we've got Declan Rice. I would have had him in the centre, to be honest. He's the sort of defensive midfielder. Then I've got Dele Alli one side, the rejuvenated, resurgent Dele Alli under Jose Mourinho. Then we've got Big Jimmy Maddison playing on the left there. Then a front three, a sensational front three. Jadon Sancho, best teenager in world football behind Mason Greenwood. Then we've got Tammy Abraham on the left because he's a striker, but there's no left wingers. I'll be honest with you. They don't make left wingers down south. And then, of course, England captain and future record goal scorer Harry Kane.
Right, it's an interesting 11. I'll give you that.
It's a brilliant 11.
I like the way you were saying like no left wingers and the best teenager in world football behind Mason Greenwood.
Yeah.
So should we get to my team then?
I don't want to see yours.
This is the Northmen.
I suspect.
Should we call it the Northmen? No, you can say foul play all you like, but here's how it's going to be going. Don't worry about it.
What? What is going on?
Shut up. The rules were born in the North, right? So I'll get to him in a minute. Let's go. Dean Henderson in net, England's number 1. There isn't a better English goalkeeper. In fact, 3 out of the best 4 English goalkeepers are all from the North, right?
Yeah.
I'm going with the greatest left back since Maldini at left back. I don't think there's any arguments there whatsoever. At right back, I've gone with Trippier. And in the middle, I've gone with Tarkowski, 0-1-6-1 in the area, and Aaron Maguire.
Right.
Kind of 0-1-6-1 in the area. I've gone with Dean Henderson and pin him back, and this is the bit you're going to want to clip up. The guy's a world champion, sort of.
Jordan Henderson, you mean?
Did I say, yeah?
You can't have 2 Dean Hendersons.
Oh, yeah, you're right, yeah. Or maybe I could. Well, there's 2 Hendersons in the team anyway. Yeah. One of them's absolutely mint. The other plays for Liverpool. And the rest of the midfield is going to be, obviously, Stockport Messi. Pep Guardiola said he was the greatest player he's ever seen. So that definitely elevates him above anyone in your team.
Yeah.
And alongside, who did we go with in the end? Oh, we went with Phillips, didn't we? We went with Calvin Phillips. Because I was going to go with Scott McTominay.
Yeah.
But I changed my mind last minute. And then on the left, Marcus Rashford.
Yeah, there you go. There's the winger for you.
Yeah, and on the right, Trent Alexander-Arnold. Do you know why I've gone with Trent on the right?
Because you got 2 good fullbacks and no right wingers?
No, not really. There were options.
Oh, really?
But I just think he's a shocking defender, but he's an unbelievable crosser of the ball.
Yeah.
And then Haaland up front.
Can we stop you there? Haaland up front?
Yeah.
Right.
What's the issue?
Danish. Norwegian, wherever he's from.
Norwegian for starters, but
Norwegian.
Which part of Norway was he born in?
Manchester.
Leeds.
That is Norway, essentially, isn't it? I actually can't believe you put him in there. I knew there was going to be some sort of foul play with you because.
What was the rules, Joe? Born in the North with an F.
Yeah, but he can't play for England, can he?
He can play for the Democratic Republic of the People of North. You're
going to bring him back? You're going to get him from Dortmund back over?
I
mean, to be fair, he can come on the same plane as Sancho when he plays for my team.
Bingo.
He's going to. Are we coming up with who's going to win that?
Right. I think the comments are going to have to let us know. Who wins that?
Come on.
Who wins that?
It's pretty clear.
Who wins that?
It's pretty clear.
Yeah, it is. I think Haaland scores hat-trick because that's what he does.
Yeah, but who's going to assist him?
Trent.
Shit.
And Dean Henderson's going to stop him. And they've got... Now, did you even do a bench?
Yeah, I got a few players on the bench.
Who's your bench?
Got not Nathan Dyer. The other Dyer. Tottenham Dyer.
Oh, right,
Eric Dyer. I almost said Kieran Dyer to start with. I was going to say this. It's going back a while.
I think he's in the south as well.
Yeah. I've got Eric Dyer on the bench. I've got Eric Dyer on the bench.
Right, so I've got like John Stones, I've got Mason Greenwood, I've got like all the rest of the goalkeepers like Pickford and stuff like that.
That's not bad.
Solid is what we are.
But we don't need a bench. Our starting 11's so good. You don't need subs.
All right. Isn't like all your forward line injured at the minute? Anyway, it's FA Cup weekend this weekend, and that's about all the football that's happening this weekend, isn't it? And there's a couple of games that I'm actually really looking forward to. The one game I am looking forward to currently is Southampton against Tottenham, because basically it's the only game that's really worth looking forward to.
What, in terms of how close each team is? Southampton are
it's one that you look at. Like, you look at all of the fixtures in the FA Cup and you go, Oxford's have got a potential for a bit of a giant killing against Newcastle, just because they're horrendous.
Yeah.
But you look at it and you go, I think there's potential for let's be honest, I think if Southampton knocked out Spurs, that would be considered a bit of an upset.
Yeah, definitely. And they're one of the most informed teams in the league. I think they've won 5 of the last 6 or 4 of the last 5.
Bitch slap 9-0.
Battered 9-0, yeah.
Now, commenters, would you take a 9-0 slapping in a season if you just went on a tear afterwards, like as a proper kick up the ass? Because I've never seen United on the back end of that. No. Anything close.
I think it depends where you are in the league. If you're like a team challenging for top 4 and you get beat 9-0, that's season over. But if you're like in the relegation zone, it can't get any worse. Here's our rock bottom. We come back up, and that's what Southampton have done.
What if you was to win the league, but like midway through February lose 9-0?
Take it.
Yeah, you do take it, don't you?
I'd take 3 9-0 losses in a row if you win the league.
Didn't United win the league when City beat us 6-1?
Did they?
I can't remember. I think
we should know that.
I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah? Yeah, we did. Yeah. Just say we did.
We won it around then, so that's the same.
Same thing, either way.
Right, so some of the games that we're going to be looking forward to then. Yep. Shrewsbury, Liverpool. Do you think Liverpool can get the job done there?
It depends. It really depends. They've struggled to get wins this season, Liverpool, so, they're going to have to turn it around against Shrewsbury. Shrewsbury, they beat Bristol. It's not bad.
They've got a couple of ex-United players there. Sean Goss, Roshan Williams.
Yeah.
Someone who's doing their recruitment is very astute. I like what they're doing there at Shrewsbury. They're doing all right.
I think, obviously, we're going to have to... The only way that's going to happen is if Liverpool put the kids out again. But they did beat Everton, so... But then again,
the kids did, yeah. That's a nightmare, isn't it?
Yeah, that's an absolute nightmare.
Bournemouth, Arsenal.
I reckon we could see an upset there. I mean, if it's even an upset for Bournemouth to beat Arsenal these days. But I think I wouldn't be surprised.
Are they above them in the title?
It's very, very similar positions.
They're above them in the table, aren't they?
Arsenal, of course, got the most FA Cup wins of any team.
Good fact.
Great fact. 13, in case you didn't know.
Unlucky for them.
Yeah.
Maybe they now stick on 13 forever like they did after they went undefeated.
Yeah, that was bad, wasn't it? That was poor. But yeah, I reckon we could see an upset there. It looked like, what's his name for Bournemouth scored a goal for the first time in about 12 months the other day. I reckon that they're coming back. Eddie Howe, good manager. One
game that I'm probably going to try and tune into, actually, as well, is Northampton and Derby. For that there, Wayne Rooney.
Yeah. I think he's been all right. Do you think he's been good?
I watched his first game back, and I was like, Jesus, he did. I think that was like the most watched Derby game in a long old time. And I was like, he's miles off the pace. He's miles off the pace, but he's not playing as a number 10, not even as a number 8, really. He really is almost like Wayne Rooney tribute act to Pirlo.
Yeah, just sit, just ping it, put a great ball in for an assist.
The pingers was out. I mean, United literally don't have a player that's got that pinging ability.
No.
Saw that clown on Sky the other day that was saying like United should bring him back as a striker, and you're like,
no.
We're a team that's trying to play very fast counter-attacking football. You might as well throw one matter up there. You know what I mean? It's like the speed is not there with Rooney at the moment. The football intelligence is there, and the passing ability is absolutely there. But I think he'd be against Northampton as well. You got to think the pedigree of Wayne Rooney's gonna see out the day from now.
Yeah, got to on it.
So yeah, that's my player of the week to watch this week in the FA Cup. Who's yours?
It's going to be Danny Ings.
I can see why.
Yeah, he's the most informed English striker that's not injured. There's a stat for you. And I reckon, look as it is at the minute.
Kane, I mean, that's a very valid point.
Kane out for Rashford out. Vardy got injured yesterday as well.
Oh
I reckon he might well start for England in the Euros as well. Danny Ings. Remarkable. After it, talking about injuries, he's the only one that's not injured.
I mean,
he's been injured for
that's
4
literally
years.
how you got selected. I tell you what, Danny, you've deserved this call up by just not getting injured.
He's got 16 league goals this season.
He's done well, to be fair to him. He has done well. Yeah, so I think Danny Ings not a bad shout. Wayne Rooney's mine. Right, what else happening this weekend?
Loads of stuff's happening. We've got the Super Bowl coming up soon as well.
Yeah, I think we're going to speak to someone about that in a little minute. But before we speak to him, I think there's something happening at Cheltenham. What do you know about racing?
Horse racing?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, me too. Let's ring a man who can. And that man is Ross from GG. Ross, what's going on at Cheltenham this weekend and why are we asked?
So even if you've probably never heard of horse racing, you might have heard of the Cheltenham Festival. Goes on in March. It's jump racing's Olympics. Well, this Saturday is Trials Day, where some of the stars that you're going to expect to see winning in March are going to be racing this Saturday. And of course, something's got to win. So in front of 30,000 people, you've got pure perfection in equine form, jumping their way around Cheltenham, thrills, spills, people with their mates, a few beers, what's not to like about a day at the races.
Right, now when you said it was like the Olympics, is there a discus?
There is not a discus. There is a long jump, a high jump probably, some thrills and spills, maybe falls at the water in the steeplechase, all that kind of stuff goes on. So if you like thrills and spills and plenty of action, Cheltenham's the place to be.
No.
Right. What was you going to say, John?
How close to Cheltenham Festival is it to like Glastonbury Festival? Similar kind of bands and stuff, or a different type of vibe?
It's probably, at this time of year, it's probably colder, wetter, muddier.
Ross, who's going to be winning, and where do people need to be putting? And have you got a tip for us?
I've got 2 tips for you, so we might as well start as we mean to go on. We'll give you 2 tips. The first one, the best horse on show on Saturday is a horse called Paisley Park. He won at the Cheltenham Festival last year. He's on an unbeaten run of 6. You won't get rich backing him in the Cleve Hurdle on Saturday. I think that's off around 3.35. Not ideal. It's in the first half of football matches, so probably most of you guys won't even care what wins at that time of day. But if you won't get rich backing him, as I say, if you put a tenner on, you'll only get 16 quid back. But he should do the business, so that's the banker of the day. If you want one at a bigger price that might, get you enough money for a curry after a night out on the town on Saturday, then you want to be looking at a horse called the Rasher Counter that runs in the Cotswold Chase at around 250. That horse is a horse with the world at his feet, at his hooves maybe, who knows. He's getting better with every race, and he's about 8-1 at the moment. So I think he'll give you, a good run for your money.
Oh, tenner on that. Might be able to get a poppadom as well.
Oh, lovely poppadoms.
Lovely. Right, Ross, cheers. Thanks for that. You can find out more about GG and what Ross is up to and all the tips from the world of horse racing. Link for that is in the description. Ross, nice one, mate. Hope you have a good weekend this weekend at the trials.
Thanks, mate. You too.
What else done this weekend?
There's got to be some boxing on, isn't there?
Always boxing on.
There's always boxing on. Let's tell you who could sort us out. We've got Lee from Betting Pro. He'll tell us what's going on. What's going on with the boxing, Lee?
We've got a few fights this weekend, but the only notable one is the Danny Garcia fight. Even that's not particularly notable.
But
it's nice to see him be fighting this year.
Do you have a tip for it? That's all we want to know.
Yeah, well, my colleague Dave seems to think this is going to go 12 rounds. I'm thinking we might get a late stoppage out of it. Ladbrokes are even money for over 7.5 rounds. Danny Garcia hasn't had many quickfire knockouts. So Red Catch may stick around for a little while, but ultimately Garcia should just be too much for him.
I'm just noticing with all the NFL memorabilia in the background there, in the Super Bowl soon.
Week on Sunday.
Week on Sunday. Of course it's on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Or early hours of bloody Monday morning, let's be honest. What are we thinking for Super Bowl?
This could be a fantastic game. It's the perfect Super Bowl. Best offense versus best defense. And I'm going for the upset. The bookies have struggled to split Kansas City and San Francisco. They've made the Chiefs the slight favourite. But I fancy San Francisco. If you were to write a list of everything you need to beat the Chiefs, the Niners have got it. So I fancy them. We've got them at 21-20 with Bet365 just to simply win the game. But Kansas City always get off to a slow start. And you can get 15-8 at Paddy Power for the Niners to lead at halftime and to win the game.
Ooh,
So
bit of value in that.
That sounds good.
Little bit of value in there. I have a feeling we're probably going to be talking to you again next weekend before it's Super Bowl time.
I've got a good MVP pick for that as well at big odds. So, yeah, we can do that.
Ooh, save it.
Yeah, save that for next week. We'll talk to
Save
you
it.
about that. Right, that is Lee, and that is from Betting Pro. And you can get loads of the really best tips from around the internet for Betting Pro. Link for that will be in the description. But cheers, Lee.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Right, so we've had horse racing, boxing, Super Bowl. It's got what else? What else?
Chicken Wing Festival.
When
It's this weekend, isn't it?
is it?
I think so.
Oh, I was thinking more Australian Open, Steve.
Oh,
Tennis, mate.
oh, tennis.
You know tennis. I love tennis.
Why is it
15
called
love
an
tennis.
Why is it called an Open?
Because it's open and then they close it afterwards. You're not allowed to go there anymore. Open the stadium, close the stadium.
Why was everything not called an Open then? Have you ever seen that joke from Kevin Bridges where he's talking about an empty?
Yeah.
Right. Is it like that?
It's like a full. It's an empty or an open or a closed or an open.
Right.
Yeah, it's that.
Okay.
It's like that. Same thing. Let's learn about Australian Open, shall we?
I don't know anyone who knows tennis. Hang on.
Come on, you gotta know someone.
No. Hannah from Live Tennis. Yes, we do. Hannah, what's going on with the tennis? And is it actually an Open?
Okay, well, if you actually want to know why it's called an Open, fun fact, it's because it is open to professional players instead of just to amateur players. Obviously, like 30, 40 years ago, it was only amateur players who were allowed to play tournaments like the Australian Open. So,
But if I slide Joe a fiver over the table to play me at tennis, is he then a professional?
No, he'd have to get, well, you'd have to, it depends how much you pay him, and I think what kind of ranking system you were using. He'd have to be drugs tested, of course. There would have to be some kind of professional ratification, I think.
Oh.
That's a shame. Yeah, we'll leave that. I don't think I get paid enough to be classed as a professional tennis player.
Yeah, okay, go on then. So who's winning it, and why do we care?
Well, you should care because it's one of the 4 biggest tournaments of the season. So this is kind of one of the greatest like spectacles in tennis, a fortnight with all the top players competing. And frankly, I think everyone should care, but you know, that's that. We've also got 3 on the men's side. We've also got 3 of the greatest players of all time: Roger Federer, Novak Djokovic, and Rafael Nadal, who were all incredibly close to each other in the race to be the greatest Grand Slam player of all time. Federer is currently leading with 20, but Nadal is just 1 behind him with 19. And Djokovic, who is my tip for the Australian Open title, is bringing up the rear with 16. Djokovic has a record 7 Australian Open titles, and he's going for number 8. And yeah, he is my tip for the title. I think he's going to close the gap on Federer and Nadal.
What odds is he at to win this?
So I am backing both 7-time champions, Novak Djokovic and Serena Williams, to win the men's and women's titles this year. And it seems kind of mad that you can get 7-1 with William Hill on that, given that they are both the greatest Australian Open players of all time. But the thing to bear in mind with Serena is that she has just won her first title since becoming a mother. It was at a smaller tournament in Auckland, but given that it's her nerves in finals that seem to have been the problem over the last couple of years, the fact that she was able to win that title in Auckland very comfortably in the run-up just a couple of weeks ago, I think really boosts her chances of being able to do the same thing at the Australian Open.
Awesome. Cheers, Hannah. Right then, thanks to all our tipsters that have just given us a quick little call. I reckon there's probably quite a few things that's worth checking out there. If you like any of those, the links for all of those and the odds and the bets and everything like that will be in the description below. These are all brought to you by the Catena Sports Network. It is your one-stop shop for every single sport that is out there, and I mean every single sport that is out there. They've got experts in every single field. They've got tips, form guides, all that sort of stuff, and loads of it is just free to go and read out there on the internet, especially with the likes of like Betting Pro and the tennis and all of these places. You can just go and check out all of that info, so I definitely suggest you go and do that. Now, what Hannah was just saying there about 7-1. It's
a nice little number, that,
7-1 for 2 people to win that are currently on their 7th title. And do you know what?
So many 7s flying about.
A lot of 7s. But Joe, as she was saying it, I was like, I like betting on stuff that's 7-1. And I don't know why. When I go to horses or if I go to dogs, I love the dogs, go and check out the 7-1s because they're usually in and around the top.
It's attainable, but you don't feel like you're risking too much money.
Yeah, and you win something when they actually come in. I like 7-1s, so that might be worth a go. I don't have a clue about tennis.
I know a little bit about tennis.
What do you know about tennis?
I know you Djokovic. I know you Nadal's, Federer's, Andy Murray. Not Mandy, is it? That's his sister. Andy Murray, he was good, and then he broke all his legs in half, and then his hips fell off, and then he came back, and then he's not good still yet. So, other than that, not sure really. Grand Slams, Open.
Yeah, why is it? Actually, they talk about it in rugby as well, don't they? But I don't hear people talk about Grand Slams in any other sport.
No, golf. Grand Slam?
Did I?
I don't know. Open's definitely a golf.
Is golf a sport?
Golf is a sport.
Is golf a pub game played outside?
Yeah, darts, isn't it?
Yeah.
Long range darts.
Correct.
Yeah.
With weirder pants.
Yeah.
Darts goes with a weird shirt.
Kind of like
golf goes with a weird
between
pants.
darts and snooker because it's played on green with balls, but it's like hitting it into the target.
It's a pub game for people who got far too much land.
Yeah, pub game for people with land instead of pubs. Yeah.
Sorted.
Perfect.
That's sorted. Speaking of Scotland, did you see that the Scottish FA are trying to tell the Scottish Premier League to postpone fixtures around the time of the Euros to help Scotland qualify and stuff?
What do you think? Do you like it? I like it.
I'm torn because I think that some of these, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, it's purely factual, isn't it? Scotland is a smaller nation.
Yeah.
It's a smaller nation that underperforms probably at some of these tournaments. So anything that they can do to improve their chances, I'm all for. I mean, if England brought it in, I don't care about England.
No, I do quite like England in the Euros, in the World Cups and that. I got very into the World Cup. I think it's different. It seems different in England. Like
I don't feel like
Scotland
my team, though. United, my team.
But when Rashford's scoring penalties in against Colombia and
buzzing
stuff
for
like
Rashford.
You really? You don't have it in a sort of glow?
Yeah,
I was jumping up and down. I was screaming. I love it.
No, like...
But I think for a nation like Scotland, where, as you said, they're going to be on that cusp, that kind of, like GCSE, that's your CD boundary in it. they're that kind of area where they might qualify, they might not.
This is like the fifth time you've referenced school in a shoot today.
Is it?
Yeah.
I like school. Bloody great time. For that kind of country where it's very hit and miss, yeah, have as much help as you need. I like it. Whereas England, if you can't qualify with 60 million people, don't qualify, you're rubbish. But we'll be all right. We're qualified.
Who do you think's winning the Euros?
France or Belgium.
Belgium's got such a belting squad in it. I can't believe people was calling them a dark horse in the World Cup. You're like, what?
Yeah. Sorry.
What?
Lukaku, De Bruyne, Vertonghen, Alderweireld, whoever else. Hazard. Yeah, it's hardly a dark horse,
Mertens,
is it? The midfield isn't necessarily brilliant.
It's not necessarily bad, though.
No, it's not a bad midfield, but compare it to France, whose team is just like top trumps in it.
Incredible.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. When people like Anthony Martial aren't even getting in the squad.
And no one gives a toss that he's not in the squad either. It's not even like why aren't we playing Anthony Martial? They're like, we didn't pick Anthony Martial again. Everyone's like...
Yeah, of course. Because we've got Mbappe, Griezmann, Pogba.
Madness.
Yeah.
What else is happening this weekend?
Loads is happening this weekend.
What are you doing this weekend?
What am I doing this week? I'm probably going to watch some football. I'll watch Man United against who knows.
How mad's that?
Yeah.
That it's literally Thursday.
I know.
And there's tickets to be applied for, there's travel to be arranged, and it's like, guess where you're going this weekend?
We don't know.
We'll find out later.
Hopefully the train
tickets. Here's the thing, you're going to find out at 10 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
If it doesn't go to penalties.
It might be midnight. Who knows?
It could theoretically be midnight. So people, if they work a regular job, could go to bed tonight, not having a pot of glue, wake up tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock, go, right, where am I going on Sunday?
Yeah. Mental, innit? Very good. I like it, though. I don't mind. I like Tranmere or Watford. I mean, if you had to go for it, you'd buy the hotel in Watford, wouldn't you? But you'd look like an absolute fool otherwise. I don't know what you're going to be doing for a weekend in Watford if there's no game on.
Yeah, or Tranmere.
Just go to the services.
Does Tranmere have any sort of tourist attractions?
There's got to be a tram
This
near.
seems like something we have to Google.
There's got to be a tram near.
Right, if you're a tram museum, then you want to shoot the Tranmere Tram Museum. Come on.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to Google tourist.
Is there a tram here? No, this is
attractions.
Tranmere. That kind of thing. I bet that goes on a lot.
Tranmere.
What we got? First one?
No, it says tourist attractions near Tranmere.
Oh, tram. You get a tram near.
The Birkenhead Priory, which is
Lovely.
an ancient monastery founded in 1150.
That is old.
They've got Birkenhead, this is all Birkenhead, this. Birkenhead Park, which is restored 1847 park.
Of course there is.
The Wirral Transport Museum and Heritage Tramway in Tranmere.
There is a tram near. After all, fantastic. We're going there.
Oh, sensational.
Put your bets on Tranmere.
Top 10 things to do. I'm clicking it.
Come on.
Top 10 things to do near Tranmere Rovers Stadium. Have you been to Tranmere Rovers?
I've never been, have you?
Yes, I have.
Is it any good?
No.
Okay.
St. Joseph's Roman... Another church.
I like that. Top 10 things to do. Bars and clubs. That's not one
the
thing
Royal
on the list.
Albert Dock, not in Tranmere.
That's
Somewhere else that's not in Tranmere. The Wirral Transport Museum. Anyway, right then, that was the fixture list as brought to you by the Catena Sports Network. And you can find out all of those. Like we said before, you've got Betting Pro, you've got GG, you've got live tennis. You've also got the likes of Squawker and stuff like that that are all in the network as well. So check all of those out. The links are in the descriptions. We are going to be back next. Do you know what? Why didn't we do this last week?
So many great games, weren't there?
The UFC.
That was a great game.
That was a great game.
Between Conor McGregor's shoulder and Cowboy's face.
I'll tell you what, I really want to talk about that because that was absolutely cracking, wasn't it?
Mental.
You thought we were going, we're not going. How cool was that?
Yeah, sensational. I've never seen that. Have you ever seen a player? He's a UFC player.
He's a UFC player.
Absolutely rocked by shoulder. I think that won him the fight, honestly.
I've seen someone, but it was a slightly different way of doing it. I've seen people using the shoulder up against the fence and stuff like that, but never in the middle of the cage like that.
Coming down and jumping into it.
Oh, he was having it, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And I've never seen Conor come out and throw straight off the off like that.
He usually tries to find his range with those kicks.
Masvidal. But yeah, it was fantastic. Absolutely stunned Cowboy.
So stunned.
And it was over that fast that as soon as he started falling, I just had visions of the Mendes fight.
The way he
as
went
he
down
just
to his left.
crumbled. Absolutely crumbled him.
Dennis Seaver as well.
Yes, just crumbled.
Yeah.
So, wowzers.
Yeah.
Conor McGregor, 170. I'm sure we're going to be talking about that as we go forward.
Yeah, it looks like he's back, doesn't it?
Tons of MMA that's happening. And I think that Conor McGregor... And he said he wants to fight 4 times or something this year. That's Conor McGregor being back in it.
That's back.
I don't think we're going to get that excited, and we're not going to see that many, I don't think, because there's...
2 or 3, I reckon. No injuries.
I think there's every chance there's probably court cases in the wings looking at the last couple of years.
Don't worry about the court cases. Move on.
But anyway, thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to subscribe. We'll be back on Thursday next week with the next fixture list. Get us in the comments with anything that you'd like to see us talk about. Or if you're like, do you know what? I know this is on next week because the Super Bowl is one of them that I think we're going to be talking about. And also let us know from the top of the show who's going to win, the North or the Dirty South. See you in a bit.